Good morning or good afternoon, YouTube, for wherever you're living. For me, it's 10 in the morning, 10, 11, 12, 1. I got to count with my fingers still. So it's like one, it's after lunch for you, and it's barely after breakfast for me.
Yep. Yep. Hello.
Hi, Nate. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're feeling better. Nate was supposed to go to an eBay party that I went to, he and his wife, Saturday. That was a lot of fun. And they weren't able to go because Nate was a little under the weather.
I saw
Uh,
your pictures from that. How do you get eBay to show up at those events?
so if you are, say in your town, let's say you want to be, I forget there's actual titles. So because I don't know the name of the titles, I'm going to make it up what I would call it. So in your town where you live, if you wanted to have these eBay meetups and groups and gatherings, events, if you will, I'm going to call it that you're an eBay moderator because I don't know the word for it. And so you actually go through eBay and you become eBay's official moderator for your town or city. And when you then put together these events, you reach out to eBay and they send reps there to your events. eBay wants to be part of your community, they want to be part of their community. And what I really have to say that I love about this, now getting back into eBay, I never really went to the eBay parties and group events before in my town. Because I just didn't. At the time, I was still working a full-time job. So now that my life is different, and this is my full-time job, it frees me up to be more flexible. So what I never had known is that eBay wants their employers or their employees selling on eBay. So when any of the reps come, the advertising team, the account management team, any of the executives, whatever the department they're in, they all sell on eBay, just like you.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I love that. eBay encourages to do that. So they get their eBay income for selling and they get their eBay income from their actual job with eBay. They always bring free swag. They work the room. They want to talk to you. They want to know what is working, what isn't working, and how can they help you.
That's great.
It's great. And you can tell them the bad things. Like I got deactivated. I had a violation on my account and, look, this is what happened. And I thought I was doing the right thing. Let me get your name. Let me get your email. I'm going to look into this for you. Let me help you. It's
That's
a
incredible.
very different experience than an Amazon experience. And it made me love eBay even more.
Yeah, I bet it means a lot, when somebody shows they care. Was there anybody that you talked to there where you got some like great tip or you were like, oh, I didn't think of that? Like, did you have any aha moments while you were there?
Well, this was a Christmas party. So it's not like I spent a great deal of time talking to the eBay gals that were there because we were just eating and playing game. And so it was just a really, really fun social event. But I did talk with the one lady just momentarily. She came over to talk to me because I shared my Amazon story and, how I'm back into eBay. And so she came up to me later. I told her about an issue I had with my old eBay account that had gotten suspended. I get suspended wherever I go. And it was for a late shipment rate. And so you know how your metrics fall down and you get like the next 90 days or whatever to bring it back up. Well, I had put my account on vacation and paused my eBay business. So I never got that metric back up. And so they ended up shutting my business down. So I opened up a new eBay account in a family member's name. And so I told her about how I don't want to do that. I just want my account in my name. And so she's an old rep had looked at that, but I had never heard back from him. And she said, "Oh, I'm going to take this to the legal team. Give me some time." And she made sure that I had her name and she's the girls who throw the eBay party here. The Katie and Vicky are their names. They have a YouTube channel. Their YouTube channel is really fantastic for what they source and sell on eBay and Poshmark and what have you. So they're really good about getting to those eBay reps and helping those eBay reps get to you. I had another problem with eBay was sending out offers that I didn't put as a best offer. And so I was selling items at a 50% discount. I'm like, I don't even have this in my account. Like, how is this happening? And Vicky got me in touch with an eBay rep that helped squash it, helped me get it, fixed. And now all of that is taken care of. But I was super frustrated. I'm like, especially on the heels of having been deactivated on Amazon and getting Amazon back. I just was tired of having aggravation in my life. And Nate and his wife also tried to help me with it. So I shared with them what I learned, and now we know how to fix these things in our eBay account.
That's great. So is it a setting that you had in your account?
There was. So there were things that were I forgot how I did it. So I can't really tell you the exact steps, but when I was poking around, now that I'm back into eBay, trying to relearn the back end of eBay, there is a section where you can have it just automatically send out best offers to even future people. Like, so you don't have to go in there and manually do it.
Yeah.
So I had some of them on that, but I never put in a 50% discount. I don't know how that happened to this day. Even the eBay people couldn't figure out how that happened. And it happened to be on 3 different sales. So when you go into your inventory, and if Nate is watching, maybe his wife can tell him what the buttons were, because I know Elizabeth is the one that does that. There's like these 3 little lines at the end of the row of each eBay listing where you have to removes this feature. And so I went through all of my inventory, and you have to do it one by one by one. So now if I send out offers, I'm just sending out an offer like one time, once a week on because I'm afraid of this automated setting now.
Yeah. No, I remember when they rolled out the automated offers setting, and I think one day I did do it, and then I was like, oh, this, I don't think this is a good idea. And a lot of it had to do with like, well, what if we're traveling and I put my store on vacation? Is it still, I didn't know. And I was like, well, I'm just going to reel that back in and manage that myself. And then, if I accidentally hit 5-0 for the offer, then that's on me. So yeah. That's great insight though, because I have read in the groups, other people have experienced what you're experiencing. So I don't have a solution for them right now, but it's good to know there is a solution.
There is. And so maybe I will figure that out for our next show, take screenshots of where these settings are, in case anybody wants to know. I don't know that anyone else has had that. I don't see that that's a big problem in Facebook groups though.
No, I've just seen it a couple of times. And I think when it was an issue for you, I did some research on it, but I couldn't come up with
a lot out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know today we want to talk about some fun things, like how do you decide to list something on eBay versus whatnot. Also, we have a fun, Nicole and I love our credit card deals and hacks. So Nicole has another fun credit card deal that she took advantage of. And then what a lot of us have been going through, you, me, some of my other reselling friends, and this was even brought up at the eBay party just when everyone was having conversation, is do you have stuff listed that you don't have anymore? And are there things on your shelves that you thought were listed and now for some reason they're not in your accounts listed? And going through inventory management, and how do you go about doing that? Because that can be a daunting task. And as I've always said, as soon as you realize you've lost something, you're surely going to now sell it. And another thing is sometimes when there are things that I think, why haven't I sell it? I donate it to the thrift store. 3 days later, I sell it because I forgot to delist it. And sometimes just go in there and touch something. I touch something and then all of a sudden it's sold. So I'm a big advocate. Go in there and touch your stuff.
Yeah. No, that's really a thing. So we, when we got back from vacation after Christmas, we like to travel. We, we have this barn full of inventory, and there are sections that I'm like, I know this stuff isn't listed anymore. Why hasn't it sold in forever? And you mentioned it's a daunting task, and it is. If, originally I was like, I'm going to go out here and handle this all today. And so I print out inventory, and it ended up being 40 pages front to back of all of my inventory. And then as I was printing it, I was like, how do I stop printing this? This is
How long did it take you to complete it, A to Z?
So I'm not done. So because it is a daunting task, I was like, I'm going to handle this section today. And I picked a section and I started there. And it's not a perfect solution because there are things listed that I don't have anymore. And I really want to clear that up. But what I'm doing first is going through and finding the stuff that's not listed and getting it listed. And in doing so, I started this about a week ago and have listed a ton of things and have already sold 10 things out of that just as of yesterday.
I love that.
And then like you were talking about how like touching or talking or whatever. Okay, listen. So I listed 4 of this one item and I had one of it listed for forever, a different version. And within one day, all of those sold, including the old one that had been listed for forever. It's weird, right?
But it works. It's so true.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, and I, in a perfect world, I would say to you, of course, I'm not sourcing until I get all this other stuff listed. And that's absolutely not the case. But I definitely am handling that stuff. And so I've been majorly focused on doing the cleanup kind of thing and getting that stuff listed. And then, I have my weekly Whatnot show every Wednesday. And I was a little overwhelmed with that. I was like, what do I offer tonight on my Wednesday show? It's cold out. I don't want to pull stuff out of the trailer. I have a bunch of stuff in this barn. And I started with just kind of the cleanup stuff, the stuff I'm not going to list on eBay, the extras I get, if I buy a lot of something and half of it is stuff I didn't pay for, they didn't include it in my offer price, but it came with the collection that I bought. And I just started with that. And I debated too. I was like, do I just hold off on doing a Whatnot and like wait a couple months until everything's cleared up? And I have, momentum with those people.
What a great way to clear it up by doing a Whatnot show and getting rid of it.
Right. Yes. And you don't want to give up that momentum. So if I've made a commitment to do it every Wednesday, I need to be there, even if it's only for an hour, half hour, whatever it is, just to keep showing up so that you stay relevant so that's the decision I made. And, tonight I think I'm going to offer up, I have a table with, items that I'm not 100% if they're complete. I didn't pay a lot for them, so I'm going to offer them at a good deal and people can figure out if they're complete, but I don't want to spend the time doing that. So
I think that's a great idea.
My time on eBay and whatnot.
Yeah, it's great. It took me about a week to go through all of my stuff, which I thought was really great because I had already eliminated a lot of my stuff, right? After the whole Amazon debacle, we'll call it. So my stuff was already getting a little bit more organized. But since my focus this year is more on Walmart and eBay than it is on Amazon, I restructured my office to be more of an eBay room. So we bought shelving at Sam's Club. I got the big totes. We made everything super organized. And then I also have a dedicated space for Walmart inventory that's coming in that will go out for a WFS shipment. I have also another storage rack that is more neatly stored with all my bag sizes, my boxes. I have my printer station still where it was, but underneath it, I added like cubbies with the drawers, and inside those drawers is the backup computer paper, the Dymo sticker label rolls. And, I love that whole purge in January. I do it every January. And then in digging stuff out, it's like, okay, is this even listed? I forgot. Is it listed? Right. Then you get down to that section. And then from there, I make sure, is it listed? Where is it listed? If I'm going to donate it, make damn sure I delist it because I have been notorious for donating things and selling it. And I get so mad at myself because I knew to unlist it. So I love starting January off with the whole inventory reassessment, and then consider if it was listed as merchant fulfilled on Walmart or Amazon, send it in maybe, or go ahead and maybe list it on eBay and try to get rid of it. They're just different thoughts that you can have with some of that inventory that hasn't moved. If it's an eBay listing, is it because your listing is stale? Do you need to delist it, relist it, change the title? Maybe your photos suck and you just need to relook at them, whatever it is. But it's
Right.
a great time to do that in January.
Yeah. The big thing is really going through, because we sell on Whatnot, sometimes I end up in parts of the barn where the stuff is listed on eBay, but then I end up selling that stuff on Whatnot. And in a perfect world, right after my Whatnot show, I would go and, delist stuff. But sometimes when you search things, you don't always find the thing you're looking for, right?
And then you think it wasn't listed.
Right. And then I have one item that's got to go out by today that I sold. And I'm like, I bet I don't have this. And I often will look at when it was listed and I'm like, oh, this has been listed over a year. I for sure don't have this. I'm pretty sure I sold this on Whatnot. So I just hate having those conversations with people on eBay. And I really want to go through and I'm just it's going to be a thing. And I'm going to have to just go through my inventory and find each of those items and make sure I can locate it. And if I can, great. And if not, it's got to come down. And it's not going to be super fun. And it's going to take a lot of time. I think we have like 3,500 listings. So,
and because your accounts are so big with so much inventory in them, my suggestion to you, what I would be doing if it was for me, if I knew I'm doing a Whatnot show and these things are going on Whatnot first, I would probably go ahead and do my Whatnot show, what sold. And then I would either keep the other Whatnot things that didn't sell in that bin or bucket, whatever it's in. Or if I decide, okay, if it doesn't sell on Whatnot, now it's going over to the eBay bin. Same. Yeah. If I have eBay inventory that is stale, I'm going to take my time, as unfun it is, and go ahead and just like unlist it. So it stays in your ended. So it's not like you deleted it.
Right.
Go ahead and throw it in my Whatnot eBay bucket. If it sells, and I can go in my ended and go ahead and delete those. If it didn't sell on Whatnot, take now that unsold bin back to eBay, go to my ended and just quickly hit relist. And now we're back on eBay again. And I know that delisting and relisting can sometimes, with the algorithms, give you a sale.
Yeah. I have heard that. And then also, the other thing I've been doing is, when you would buy a collection and you end up with all these odds and ends that you didn't account for because you weren't buying it for that, it just came with it, those kind of things. I would list them sometimes on eBay just to get rid of them, but they might be like a $10 item. And I am not messing with like $10 or less items of the things that I sell. It's just not worth my time. That is very much going into the Whatnot pile. That's going to be a show on Whatnot. If it doesn't sell, it goes to the local consignment auction. And that is my process right now. Like, it's got to get out of
losing track of our inventory is the worst thing we can do. And it's so easy because you get in a rush. Oh, I'm just going to pull all this stuff, see if I can sell it on Whatnot. I'll delist it later, right? Because that's what we really think we're going to do. And then you got all these other 8,000 things we have to do. And then in time, by the next day at lunch, you have already forgot. It's totally out of your head.
Yeah. So that's pretty much been the Whatnot eBay kind of stuff. I was going to just fly you out. Actually, you can just help me inventory it. So it'll be a fun weekend.
Get that, pay off that plane ticket by labor.
Oh, well, okay. So that leads into the next thing we can talk about. We can talk about credit cards, right?
Yes.
So yeah, because I could probably just fly you out for free. So I got the American Express Platinum Business Card a couple months back. We have a link in the notes if anybody's interested in it. The offers they give vary. The card costs like $700 a year or something crazy like that. But there's lots of perks to it, right? So one is every 6 months you get a $200 Dell account credit. So I got myself I have a second monitor now, which I've never had before. And I'm like, oh, look at this. Like I can watch like YouTube or listen to YouTube while I'm working on my laptop. And that sounds so silly to say because so many people are so much further.
People have like 3 monitors, right?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is with that credit. So I got this one before the end of the year. So now I have another $200 credit, right? So I could go ahead and order myself another one. And eventually I could just have a room full of monitors.
Do those credits, do they stack? So if you didn't use your first 200 and now you've got your second 200, do you have 400 or
No,
just
you've got to use it once every 6
use it or
months.
lose it?
Yep, use it or lose it. So there's a Hilton credit in there, and it's $50 every so many months. And so I saw people were just getting $50 Hilton gift cards.
Gift cards with it.
Yep. And then if we stay at like a Hilton resort, we can use it towards like food and things like that. So I've been doing that. And then you can choose your airline. And so when we flew down to Florida a couple weeks ago, we flew Delta. And so I chose Delta as my airline. And then I purchased our bags through, using my Amex card. And you get $200 airline credit every year. And that covered our bags, which was really nice. So just there's been a lot of perks with, just the travel hacking and everything. But we've done since November.
On a cruise.
We were just on a cruise. We went to Vancouver and saw Taylor Swift. And then before that, I took my son to Camp Flog Gnaw in LA. So we've done 3 trips in November and we haven't had to pay to fly any of us or pay for where we stay at all, which is incredible. And a lot of that has to do with Casey.
Walmart and eBay inventory purchases.
It is, yep.
Mostly, right? And I know for me, in the past, I would have never got a credit card that cost me an annual fee because it's like, why would I pay to use a credit card? Until I started understanding that, because that one is the heftier one, the one you have. I don't have the $700. Yep. But what I did do with my other ones, I have like $500 a year. The one cost, I think 400 something the other. But what I did is I went on a spreadsheet and I listed out all the things that I get, how you mentioned the $200 credit or vouchers and things. And like on my Chase, that card right there, I think is $550 a year, but I get a $300 travel credit.
You're talking about the Sapphire.
Prepaid for it, right? So if you give 500, they give you 300 back right there. I get, Walmart Plus membership for free. Once you add up all the things you get, it's a wash. So it's almost like you prepaid for that. But then there are a lot of great credit card offers all the time, all year when you're shopping that you get to stack with Rakuten or Top Cashback. And then the points you get for the free travel. So that's something where we have been super excited about in the last year. And Nicole and I are in a mastermind group and we all share these tips. And one thing I'll be excited to share with our audience too is that within our group, we have a financial spreadsheet that I've always been using with Lucy that within our group, we've changed it to be a little bit different. And so we will be tracking our hours worked, our eBay sales, whatnot sales, whatever platforms we're on collectively. And we're going to really track it down to what is our profit on each platform divided by the hours that we actually put into that work. And we can really see, and I'd probably like to revisit that at the end of each quarter, 4 times a year, and let our audience know what we saw. That's one thing as a reseller. Oftentimes it's like when somebody asks you, well, how profitable are you? What's your net profit? Most resellers, they don't know. It's like they're like a deer caught in headlights. And that was me for years and years and years. It's like, I don't know, at the end of the year, my CPA says I am. So as long as the app tells me that I'm going to make money if I sell it, I'm good because I sell like 90% of my stuff anyway. And the stuff that didn't sell was already paid for with the stuff that did. So, I mean, I know it's working, right? That's about the vast knowledge most of us have. But when you can actually truly track it in a simple and easy to understand way, it's not bookkeeping. It's not keeping your books. It's not the information you're giving to your tax accountant. You're still giving your tax accountant your invoice that, what you spent and the stuff he wants. Like we already all have that. But what we want to know is, am I making money? Where and how? Well, when we can track it by time spent on a platform, money spent in inventory, sales that we've made, all of the platform's fees and we have our real net profit, what we really truly actually made, then we really know. I really know that on Amazon, I spent 40 hours a week and I made $100. On Walmart, I spent 40 hours a week and I made 200,
Right.
and because each platform, you spend different amounts of time. So you want it to be fair. It can really be eye-opening to let you know, wow, I was really making a lot more on eBay than I even was on Amazon. I had no idea, right? Maybe if I put a little more effort there. When you can track your number in that way, it is truly eye-opening.
Yeah. As soon as we talked about it, like later that day, I was like, where's the spreadsheet? Then like 2 days later, I'm like, where's the spreadsheet? And I like that there's lots of different info in there and we can each, tweak it and use it to, what we're looking for and what we need to know. And yes, I see Nate's comment there. What would be a great card to start with? So it's always recommended to start with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but what I actually think you should start with is going to 10xtravel.com, and they have a free course in there and everything I know is in there. And then they have a Facebook group for that. And those people are wild. They're just like super smart and tons of experience is talked about in there. It's a very active group. And I've asked questions in there and I've searched for questions that I have, and I've always been able to find an answer. So we should get a link for it, 10xtravel.com, and start with a free course, and then we can talk about it, if you want to and stuff. But Chase Sapphire is always the top recommended card.
Yep, and we can give you links for referrals that give you a little bit more points. It gives us points just for giving you the link, and then you can do the same.
Right.
And so moving on, another thing that you had mentioned to me, and I didn't even know this until you mentioned it, is that you are unable to use PayPal when buying FedEx or UPS shipping.
As of yesterday.
Yeah, and you said you looked up the policy, and it appears that that's the case, though it worked through last week.
Yeah.
Do you have any more information on that?
So from what I can tell, other people have ran into that situation. I don't know if it was just a late rollout, if it was something that was rolled out periodically. But it hit me yesterday. And of course, yesterday I shipped like 100 things. And I was like, oh no, this is pulling from my, my eBay funds. And I want it to pull from my credit card so I get the points. And of course, I did a bunch of UPS because they come and pick it up, and we always take our USPS stuff to the post office. So I was trying to save my husband from, having to take too many boxes there. But I was going to link Pirate Ship up, and I was going to compare the pricing between, Pirate Ship and eBay. And once I get that like on hands kind of feedback, I'll know what I want to do at that point.
I have been doing nothing but Pirate Ship with eBay since I think October. When I looked, it seemed that the pricing was the same, exactly the same. Part of the reason I'm doing that goes back to credit cards is because I happen to have the Chase Inc. business card. And with that, you get 3 times the points per dollar spent on shipping services. So I have that Chase Inc. business card linked to my Pirate Ship account. Pirate Ship integrates with eBay. What's even better, and I didn't know this until recently as I've been really inputting some numbers into Seller Board because I'm not using Inventory Lab for myself anymore, is that eBay is pulling my shipping costs from Pirate Ship into Seller Board. I thought I was going to have to do that manually, but it looked like it was showing my shipping charges. And I thought, well, maybe with that integration, eBay is pulling that, since Pirate Ship can pull from them. So I definitely like Pirate Ship. So, and Heather, she says that she finds Pirate Ship and eBay to usually be about the same. Yeah, the only time I check it again is if Pirate Ship has some crazy rate. And I'm like, is that right? Let me look into see what eBay has. I will do that.
Yeah, I definitely need to get that linked up so I can check it out. It's the Chase business card that I use as well. And yeah, so I'm excited to, I want those points. So.
And then Facebook also rolled out news, or not Facebook, but eBay rolled out news that are going to be integrating with Facebook Marketplace. And sorry, my nose is itchy. It looks like it was going to be on just some select listings. I don't think it's all accounts. Every single listing we have is now available on Facebook Marketplace. I think they are just selecting what they want. I don't understand what the algorithm is or anything about how they're picking and choosing.
Yeah, I think I am excited for potentially people who aren't shopping on eBay to see eBay listings on Facebook, and then they check out when they get to eBay. So it's just, another way to kind of bring more people to that platform.
And I'm curious, because we even know that they found our listing on Facebook because it's a sale to you.
Right.
I don't know that we will know on our end that it was driven from Facebook Marketplace. That I'm not sure that.
I think we'll have to wait for them to report on it and see what they say in regards to how well that is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
also they
sorry.
eBay announced that it acquired Carmel to sell cars. Okay, I've never bought a car on eBay, but apparently eBay Motors is like a really big thing. Like a lot of people buy their car parts and stuff on eBay. I bet it's a booming business, honestly. I have zero experience in it, but that was big news in the last week too. So.
Yeah, and I never even heard of Carmel before. When you messaged me that, I thought you meant camel at first.
No. Caramel, camel. Yeah, same thing.
I never heard of that before, but I do know buying car parts is huge on eBay. My husband has looked for parts for his four-wheeler on eBay. And, I think that if you have access to car parts and being part of that, it's excellent.
Yeah. I see Nate said he sold a car on eBay Motors.
That's cool.
I see they're always like doing stuff with eBay Motors. So I'm like, I bet this is like a huge market that I'm not even, when I go shopping for a car, it's not where I go, but maybe I should.
Yeah. And even though this isn't eBay news, I know most people who watch us, Amazon news, I know most people who watch us sell on Amazon too, but I did want to share that the Inventory Lab 2.0 is the only way you can do a shipment now in Inventory Lab. Most of you already know this. And Nicole has done about 5 shipments. I was in the middle of working on my first 2.0 shipment for, I don't do Inventory Lab or ship into Amazon anymore. For me, I'm only merchant fulfilled, but I do ship into Amazon for 2 Amazon sellers for them. So I do have access to their Inventory Labs. And so I am doing my first shipment today. So I was in the middle of it when I had to run in here to do our show. So I'm not quite done. I only had one little hiccup at the very beginning. I had watched, they have a video. So you have to watch the video first. I think it's mandatory. It's
you do.
Not long or long-winded, just watch the video. And I watched it last night. So then by this morning, when I went to do the shipment, I had forgot about this little section. Thankfully, I was on a video call with Heather. She pointed it out, but I wasn't able to hit the after I put in, I have 120 units of this item, and then you hit like the enter button. It wasn't progressing. It was just, I'm clicking it and it's like, it's not moving because up above, I had forgot to turn off at the beginning portion for it to not take my min and max price.
Yes.
And so
I've had to do that every time.
You scroll it down and it's hidden. So you want to turn off the enter min and max price on that step because the section for it, there's this little tiny, it's almost hidden scrolly bar, I call it, little sidebar, and they're hidden underneath. And I was perplexed on that page how to move forward. Once you move forward and you're boxing your stuff, that's where I'm at now. I actually like that page. I actually like the way I put my box content in, enter my box dimensions, the weight. I'm actually liking that. With old Inventory Lab, it maybe went to 5 warehouses. I would do just one batch at a time, print out my shipping labels, be done with that, and then move on to the next one because I don't like the group labels all at once. That's my reservation on this shipment. I haven't got there yet, but once it comes time to print out the labels, I am not looking forward to having a bunch of labels, which is box one, which is box two. I'm a little anxious about that step.
Are your boxes going to be identical?
Some are, some aren't. I have 6 different SKUs and about 800 units.
Okay, and you're going to have them where they can be broken out into identical. Can you do that? Can you make it so that your so if you have 5, 10, 15, 20 or whatever, you can put the same amount in each, because your labels will be super easy. You don't have to number your boxes.
Yeah, I've been numbering them on the outside, like what Inventory Lab 2.0 says it's box 1, box 2 on my boxes. I'm writing on the outside of it after they're taped, box 1, box 2, so I know what's what.
Okay. Yeah.
But
So
when you print out your shipping label doesn't say, I don't know, but we'll find out when I get there. I'll let you know.
Yeah, you're going to find out when you get there. I think I might even message Yoda and Austin, the people who are in the Inventory Lab chat who are taking a beating about this. And I have a lot of empathy for people, and they are trying so hard. And this will not be a popular opinion. But for our particular business and the way that we do business, I am loving it right now. It makes sense if you're out there with us and you saw how we did it before compared to now, but like I tape up 5 boxes. I don't even have to number them. I prep or label my items. I make sure it's gonna equally be able to be split between the 5 boxes. When I'm ordering now, I'm ordering in like 10, 20, 30, like in even numbers, not even numbers, I'm sorry, in 5s. I have had there's one ASIN in my account that it will not let me add it normally. I have to add it via a buy list. And I just kind of figured out that workaround. I was like, maybe it'll work this way. And it did work yesterday. And right before our show, I was trying to add it. And I was like, oh, there's something about this ASIN for whatever reason. It's just not letting me do it. But yeah, it does take longer once you do stuff, but like even the printing out the 5 labels for the 5 boxes, there's one button to say you want to populate all of them, and then they all just populate, and then I just print them, and I
can I print them one by one if I want to?
You can. Yep.
Okay, well then that will work for me, because I get overwhelmed when there's too many stickers, and it's like I don't know. It's just
if you have any questions today while you're working on it or whatever, let me know. But I was going to send them a message and be like, hey, just so you know, like, it's not the end of the world. Like, I think that video that they put out was super helpful. And anytime I have commented, I'm like, you guys got to watch this, or you're going to really have no idea. Like, I understand why, people were frustrated, because I don't know that video was available when they first, were talking about this, like, a month and a half ago.
We'll see the sticker printed. I guess the pros and the cons. When it comes time to print a sticker, it opens up another window, right? Where before an Inventory Lab, as soon as I would hit enter into a batch, my Dymo automatically just would print those labels. I had it set that way. The new way, I enter the item, another window pops up. There's my FNSKU. Then I have to select print. The sticker looks a little different. It doesn't have it said something like unverified or something, and then the like red mug, right? Like something like
that. So I haven't ran into that, but I did see your picture.
A little different, but it still had the barcode deal for Amazon.
Yeah.
So, and the number under it, 5. So I knew it would work, right, as far as the sticker goes. Then the step I already told you where I was hitting the next, but it's because I didn't realize that little bar scrolls up and down because I had the min max. What I do like is that you can click the 3 buttons like before, edit your shipment, and take that off and not have to start over. Like there, you can fix that remedy. So moving on with the rest of your shipment, you don't have to deal with it. Then when you get to the next where you do the box content, I don't even think you'd have to watch a video for that. It's so self-explanatory if you had ever done box content before. But I like how it works better, because sometimes we would measure and take, boxes, and I couldn't see what I had put in for the box dimensions or weight on that previous one. But on this one, I can see And if it's the same box, well, I don't have to have my husband tell me, now, what was it again? I can just enter that. So I like that part. And what else have I liked so far? Oh, I like the idea of the identical boxes. If there's 5 SKUs and there's 5 of each in every single box, it's like, it does make it easier for packing where we don't have to have 8 here, 6 in this one. To keep your brain straight. It doesn't make it more simplified. And then they have this button, this option that, let's say you're on shipment 1 of the 5, and now you go to the next part, you can copy boxes. So you can
That's my favorite.
Keep those boxes in one snap of a button. And so that feature is also nice.
Yes.
And like I said, that's where I'm at right now. So
yeah, the copy box it's so fast because, I'm making the box, I'm prepping the stuff, it goes into the box, I'm touching stuff so much less. And then our counts aren't going to be off either. There were times where we might label 500 of something, and then we're getting to the boxing step in the old inventory lab, and we're putting 90 in here, 70 in here, whatever, and we get to the last box and somehow we're missing one, and now we're not going to run into that issue, hopefully.
Yeah, and you're not going to open up every other box and recount all of them, because it's like, you know what, we'll just take the ding and be short one on this one.
Yeah, we did both of those things. Some days we went through them, and other days I was like, I don't have the patience for this.
Right, exactly. And I think all of us do that. I will say the part I didn't like is when I was adding it in, there was a couple of times it's like it just stopped and it was like thinking. So I had 2 slow glitches in the beginning. Once I got everything in the batch, and you have to hit the next option, which is to box them.
Yeah.
When I was hitting next, it wasn't doing anything. It just was frozen. And it took about 10 minutes for it to catch up to itself. Then I could hit next and proceed. So I'm sure they'll get that fixed. I can't imagine that that's the way it's going to be forever.
Yeah, I have not done seller board. I've never used seller board.
I'm going to try it today for me, I was going to try it for me. I'm sorry. We did log in there, and you can only do seller board for FBA. There's no merchant fulfilled setting in seller board like Inventory Lab has. You can do a merchant fulfilled batch in Inventory Lab, but not seller board.
Okay.
But I would like to try a shipment in seller board.
Yeah. I'm curious to see, how it is, if you like it. So
yeah. All right. Well, I know you have a Whatnot show to go run and do. So, and I'm going to get back to my shipment. I don't think anybody had any questions. So you guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. We'll be back here in 2 weeks. Next Wednesday at this time is the Walmart show. So join Reno, Heather, and I here next Wednesday for Walmart news. And we'll see you then.
Bye.